Hello, good evening, and welcome to this special edition of Wealth Creation through Industrialization. I am Hadiza Olaoshibiko. On tonight's program, we shall be featuring the Federal Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment's third annual seminar for trade and investments correspondents as well as group business editors from the print and electronic media. The workshop that took place in Abuja was designed to bring the media practitioners up to speed on the trade and investment component of this administration's transformation agenda, especially Nigeria's industrial revolution and the roles of the ministry and various agencies and parastatals in the process. Presentations were made by the Honorable Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, Mr. Olusegun Aganga, and other resource persons that included CEOs of agencies. Amongst them are those of the Bank of Industry, Small and Medium Enterprises Development Agency of Nigeria, SMEDEN, the Nigerian Sugar Development Council, Standard Organization of Nigeria, SUN, amongst others. The two-day workshop ended with an award ceremony to recognize and reward outstanding reporters and business editors. Enjoy the program. The two-day seminar for industry, trade and investment correspondents and group business editors was aimed at empowering them with the requisite knowledge of the Nigeria's trade and investment environment. The event kick-started with the opening remark by the Honorable Minister of State for Industry, Trade and Investment, Dr. Samuel Otom.
This workshop clearly demonstrates and underscores the importance which our ministry attaches to the media as joint stakeholders in our renewed efforts towards making Nigeria the preferred destination of foreign direct investment in Africa and globally. Therefore, it is no gainsaying the fact that the mass media plays an indispensable role in shaping public opinion and perception through information dissemination and agenda setting. The agenda setting theory maintains that the media plays an influential part in how issues gain public attention. It is for this reason the need to carry all stakeholders along and in line with our commitment to transparency in governance that the Federal Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment decided to use this workshop platform to actively engage you as media partners in setting the agenda of this ministry and to ensure stakeholders buy-in at both the local and international levels. Today, as we are gathered here for the third edition of this forum, it is important to know that this positive partnership with the media has yielded good results so far in terms of growing confidence of both local and foreign investors in the Nigerian economy.
In his presentation, the Honorable Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, Mr. Olusegun Aganga, highlighted the action plan of his ministry in ensuring a conducive business climate for both local and foreign investors through implementation of business-friendly policies.
We have reduced the cost of setting up business by 60%. What have we done to do that? We eliminated mandatory requirements for lawyers. Before, you must employ a lawyer to register. Now you don't need to employ a lawyer to register. Secondly, we have reduced CAC's fee by 50% for any MSMEs registry. We have reduced their fees again by 25% for any large company that is registered. When you aggregate that, that gives you about 60% in terms of cost. Today, you can register your business when you do your name search in 24 hours in 2 Lagos offices, in Kano, in Kaduna, in Enugu, and in Abuja. You can register your business within 24 hours, and in each of these offices, we have a British register for anyone who has any complaint if it's not registered within 24 hours. In addition, we were expecting to move to online registration this month, 15th or 16th of this month. But there has been a delay, but we will do it early in the new year. So what we're going for is online registration, which means that anyone should be able to register their business anywhere in the world and also make their payments, e-payments. Investment climate reform. We've started the investment climate reform already, which goes beyond just looking at rankings. So what have we done? We invited OECD to do a comprehensive review of our investment and business climate. OECD members actually control more than 60% of the world's economy. And it cuts across 5 different policies: investment promotions, investment policy, competition policy, and across, credit, tax, and all that. They have completed their review. They actually presented it to the President's Honorary International Investment Council in London a few weeks ago, and to us here in Abuja a few weeks before then. And together, we've identified the gaps. When you do this, it shows that you want to have an investment climate that compares with the best in the world. The next step, they have identified the gaps that we need to fill. And together, we are committed to removing and filling those gaps within 90 days from next year. So we have made significant progress in terms of identifying those gaps which we need to fill.
He also pointed out some of the low-hanging fruits of the federal government's recent business trip to attract foreign direct investment into the country.
Just to show you that going all over the world is yielding results. They are coming, first of all, from our local investors, and we must say a big thank you to them. They are very, very important to us. Our local investors have done so much in terms of having faith and confidence in the economy, and they are putting their money where their mouth is. But we have about at least 1.4 billion from the United States, Italy about 4 billion, UAE another 1.2, China about 9.3 billion, Japan 1 billion, India 5.2 billion, Indonesia 1 billion, South Africa about 3 billion. So it cuts across the continent. And that tells you that wherever you go, Nigeria is on their mind. And that must be the impression which this government has made to show that Nigeria is a destination for investment.
He concluded his presentation by emphasizing on the need to nurture entrepreneurship from the grassroots.
UNIDEP, okay, we're trying to catch them young. So we have a program for university graduates. I launched it in Lagos about a few weeks ago. And the idea is to set them into business club, get them to get into business plan competitions, get them to start thinking about starting their businesses after they leave universities. For those that are running businesses in university today, we'll find ways of assisting them. And then we have mentors that are going to the university to educate them about how to start and run your own business. And so we're trying to catch them down. It's called UNIDEP. UNIDEP meaning University National Enterprise Development Program. So overall, I think that gives a whole account of what we have done in 2014. Thank you very much.
So you told us so much about Industrial Revolution Plan. And I feel this is a document we ought to have. As it is, it's not in the website of the ministry.
NRP, you're right, it's not on the website yet. And that's because we want to formally launch it. Here's a copy of it. Okay, so it's there with a lot of work we've done. So the sugar policy is part of this. What we're doing in cement is part of this. What we're doing in automotive industry is part of this. So we commenced implementation already, but want to properly launch it. And we're just waiting for a day to do that, and then all this will be out. But you can see, here's a hard copy of what we're talking about. You're right, it should be out there, but it will be out there very soon.
We've been talking about competitiveness and regional trade in Africa. So I'd like to know what exactly is the ministry doing about the EEG scheme? For this year, the NEPC said they were going to review the EEG. Till date, we have nothing on it. and experts are actually complaining about the implementation.
Your question on EEG, you're right. That is being we said we will reveal it. That's this Ministry of Finance, and I apologize that it's taking some time, but I'm sure before long all this will be resolved. All the exporters, the manufacturer associations are actively working with us, chasing us, making sure that this is done. So I want to tell you that this is a priority for government, and it will be resolved. But the most important thing is to have an EEG that is affordable, an EEG that actually helps us get the best out of our own training system and allows us to move up the value chain.
So during the course of your presentation, you gave us a lot of things to look forward to 2014. And one of them was the plugging some of the gaps that OECD was able to identify in the investment landscape here. So you didn't tell us specifically what exactly those gaps were and the things you'll be doing so that at least we can follow, and also a way of boosting the confidence of other stakeholders who may be observing.
On the OECD gaps that you said were identified, so for example, they talked about the need for a competition law, for example. Okay? Now, I'm delighted to say that as I speak to you, we have a competition and consumer protection bill that is going to National Assembly. And we have a competition policy that I have asked to be finalized in terms of draft form by next week. It may come into place 2013, maybe 2014, but of course it has to go to Council for approval first of all.
The Managing Director of the Bank of Industry, Ms. Evelyn Oputu, ably represented by the Executive Director of Business Development, Mr. Waheed Olagunju, delivered a paper on industrializing Nigeria through effective financing. In his presentation, he explained why the Bank of Industry attach a lot of importance to proper business appraisal.
We appraise essentially to ensure that we stop bad projects, to prevent good projects from being destroyed, and to determine if the components of projects are consistent with an organization's expertise, their current plans and strategy for the future, and to find out if the project can be implemented and operated efficiently. And then, of course, to assess the sources and magnitude of the risks, and then to see how the risks can be reduced and shared efficiently. The big corporates don't have problems raising money on the demand side. Like I said, it's only mostly the elites who have those challenges, and those challenges range from collateral. It's a requirement under the Banking and Financial Instruments Act, which is implemented by the Central Bank of Nigeria. You are not allowed to give clean facilities. And if I lend you 100 million naira to buy your plant and machinery, we need security outside that project, because immediately your plant and machinery is installed, it depreciates. So even if the project goes bad, and we want to sell that plant and machinery, we cannot realize 100 million. So that's why we ask for additional collateral outside the project, and of course, to increase your commitment to the project.
He, however, gave details on how micro, small, and medium enterprises can access facility easily from the bank.
To overcome the collateral side, we came up with bank guarantees as well. You could get a guarantee of your bank to secure exposure. And then for those at the bottom of the pyramid, I talked about mutual guarantees. They guarantee themselves. A group of 10 who could lend them 10 million, and then they have an account where they pay their money every month. And that was what we did for them. But for the SMEs and the big corporations, we are saying that if state governments can establish industrial parks, that will reduce the problem of C of O, where they provide electricity, road, water, sewage, telecoms, and other facilities. We've seen it in other climates. There's no free money anywhere. We are doing our best to raise money within the country and outside the country to meet the industrial financing needs of Nigeria. And we know that when there are good transactions, the international community will listen to us. Like the IFC, for example, the MTN is their best transaction ever since IFC was established. Very lucrative. They gave them very high interest rates because they felt Nigeria was a high-risk environment, and MTN paid back, and they've continued to pay back. Aliko Dangote went to ADB. They said no. We went to IFC. IFC gave him money, and he paid back IFC within the stipulated period. So those two examples show that where the transactions are good, where you get your business model right in Nigeria, we will always source for fund for you. And other financial institutions will also do so, provided you are ready to comply with the standards. Thank you very much.
I noticed that most of the people that benefit from BOI intervention funds are not really small people. Because I relate with most of these small, medium scales, and I discovered that there are some people who needs like 100,000 naira, and if they get this kind of money, they have a good business. I want to know what BOI is doing in this direction.
We talk about the bottom of the pyramid. We have cooperatives. Though 10 of you could come together to access a 5 million naira facility or 10 million naira facility, and I don't know, you mutually guarantee each other. So we do lend to cooperatives. And I've linked you up with my colleagues in the bank on the SME desk, and they'll be willing to show you some of these projects or give you DVDs of our program so that you can see these projects all over the country. Channels too also go around the country to see what our customers are doing, customers of different sizes.
It's just to get some perspective on your experience with SMEs and lending to SMEs. Has the environment changed at all in any positive way for the BOI to begin to lend a lot more to SMEs in Nigeria? Are there any policy moves that have supported that? Thank you.
Lending to SMEs, yes, we found it quite interesting and quite rewarding, because as development practitioners, we get excited when we see how our facilities improve the lives of our beneficiaries. We have programs we run on NTA and channels on a weekly basis, and it features our customers. The idea is to show that it's doable and then to use them as role models to inspire others into going into entrepreneurship. They are doing quite well.
There were also remarks from some media executives as well as presentations from agencies of the ministry, such as the Financial Reporting Council, Corporate Affairs Commission, National Sugar Development Council, National Automotive Council, Standard Organization of Nigeria, Nigerian Export Processing Zone Authority, Small and Medium Enterprises Development Agency of Nigeria, and Industrial Training Fund. This rounded off the presentation session of the two-day workshop. Highlight of the gala night was the presentation of certificates and awards to winners of essay competitions organized by the ministry. Winners emerged from This Day newspaper, National Mirror, The Nation, and Daily News Watch. Let's take you through the gala night. 4 winners emerged from This Day, National Mirror, The Nation, and Daily News Watch papers. Certificate was then presented to all the participants. In his closing remarks, the Honourable Minister commended his team's effort, especially that of his Special Assistant on Media, Yemi Kolapo, popularly known as Alaja Waike, for putting together the workshop.
I must commend you for your patience, for joining us, for learning as much as well, for contributing as much as possible. I think I can say, and I think I have the permission of the Minister of State, I have the permission of the Council, to say that overall, we ourselves have enjoyed these last 2 days thoroughly. There's no doubt about that. And I think the DJs, the CEOs have all contributed in one way or the other to make this happen. But it's the engagement, and you're not, even for us, listening to each other. We have learned from each other in the last 2 days. Because ministry pastors, you don't get to sit down to do this all the time. You have given a lot of credit to the minister, but it's my job to pass on that credit. There's only one star in all these 2-3 days, and that star is Miss Yemi Ola. She deserves all the credit, all the compliments, everything. We don't know how she manages to do this. We are stunned completely. We are at her beck and call. We're here to support her in this event. I am not the one to take the credit. She's the one to take the credit. She's done everything to make this possible.
Then comes the cutting of the cake.
Nigeria! I go dance, I go dance, I go dance. I go dance, I go dance.
Welcome back. With such exotic dance steps displayed by the Honorable Minister, Industry, Trade and Investment, heads of agencies, including directors under his ministry, it's obvious that they're not only hardworking, but great dancers too. And everything that has a beginning must surely have an end. The third media workshop for the fourth estate of the realm may have come and gone, but there's no doubt that they have enjoyed every bit of the workshop, gala and award night. There's no gainsaying that each of them went back refreshed and better equipped as advocates of Nigeria's industry, trade and investment agenda. It's on this note that we'll conclude this edition of Wealth Creation through Industrialization. I am Hadiza Olaoshebiko. Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year in advance.